world. We had an amazing guest earlier. Today we have another amazing guest for the evening show. Normally we only do this once a day, but today we're doing it twice. um, this is Vicky. Vicky has her own really awesome experiences to share with us today. Hey Vicky, how are you doing today?
Doing pretty good. How is everybody?
Doing great.
Hi,
All
Vicky. How
right.
you doing? Hey, welcome,
Pretty
welcome to
good.
the show, Vicky. Hi.
I'm pretty good. I'm a little nervous about actually talking about this on like a public platform because most people, whenever you start talking about it, they just look at you like you're fucking nuts. Like, no, I'm really not. Like, this shit really happened, and you wouldn't be saying that if it happened to you. So,
Oh
what
yeah.
exactly? Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
Nope. It's easy to make fun of it when you don't understand it, I guess. But
hmm
yeah.
Vicky here
So.
is a sensitive, as our family has sensitives in our family. Vicky also has sensitive uh, in herself and probably within her family.
Yeah, my daughter too.
My daughter
My
is
aunt that
sensitive.
passed away, she was a sensitive as well. She actually had some pretty wild stories that she told me. It used to freak me out. That even scarier than like some of the stuff that I actually experienced. So, but yeah, so maybe eventually I can share some of that too.
Yep,
But,
absolutely.
yeah. So,
Uh,
anything specific that you?
there was a specific instance with, uh, I want to think, Henry. Is that
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah. That's the old
That
one. That's actually
uh,
the first.
you told me about that. I think would be a really good spot to start.
All right. So, okay, we're gonna talk about Henry. I had just turned 18. I had a small baby. She had just turned a year old. I was living with my dad and my boyfriend at the time, my daughter's father. And we moved into this crickety old house that was turned into a couple of apartments. And it wasn't the best place compared to what I was used to growing up. But my mom and dad got a divorce. Randy's parents actually were going through a divorce, and dad was the most stable out of the lot of them at the time. So, we made the best of it. And like right from the beginning, we kind of made jokes about it. It's creepy. Like, what if there's a ghost here? I don't want to live here. And, we just kind of laughed it off and whatever, because we had to live there. We didn't have a choice. So it started with just like the feeling of being watched every now and then, and weird things disappearing and turning up in places that you didn't put them. We actually had a lunchbox go missing, and it went missing for about, I'd say, 6 months. And it was one of them older ones with like the handle on it and the little flip top thing so you can lock the lid on it and all that stuff. Uh, we actually came home from a Walmart trip about 6 months after this disappeared, and we turned the house over and over and over. And we come home from Walmart with groceries. The door is cracked open slightly, which was weird because we know we locked it. And that I'm sorry, but that fucking lunchbox was right where it was when I saw it last 6 months ago with no lid.
Uh huh.
No lid. Like, why keep the lid? Like, what? But anyway, so that was weird. And I mean, that could even still maybe even possibly be like passed off as maybe like the neighbor did to mess with us. I don't know. But after that, the thing that I couldn't, like, when I really just could not deny that something was going on, wanted to go take a shower and to the washcloth, like up over, the shower curtain, because I had a tendency of forgetting it. So I made sure it was in there, do my thing, go to get out, holding my washcloth because I was going to wring it out, I'm going to go hang it up, go to throw open the curtain, grab my towel. There's a freshly folded washcloth just laying there on top of my towel, and I know that the door was locked. I'm a private person. I always lock the bathroom. I don't want nobody to bother me. I know nobody came in, nobody came out. There's no way they would have got past me. No way. I would have seen the shadow. No. So, fast
That's
forward.
really odd.
Yeah, to fast forward not too long after that, uh, it was around like noonish. I was going to take my daughter back into our room so she could take a nap. And I knew that my boyfriend was just, kind of getting up for the day. He worked a lot. Did the stay home thing. So I wanted to sleep in on the weekend. I tried not to bother him. And I'm going back there, and I had Jasmine in my arms, and I just kind of like turned to the door and like bumped it with my butt and just went through. And as soon as I went through the door, it just like the whole room felt like electricity. Like, when you rub your arm with a balloon or something like that, like the whole room just felt like off. So, and it's also pitch black, mind you. He actually put black shelving paper on the windows, so like it was dark, like you couldn't see nothing. And I went to take a couple steps to the left to go walk between our beds to lay her down, and as I laid her down and I looked over, I could see him clear as day, but like dark. He not much taller than me. You could see like the soccer's eyes and his nose and his mouth should be. He had like a just see him. He was there, just blending in with the dark, looking right at us, looking at me, looking at him. I'm looking over at Randy, looking at the kid, looking back over, and I'm just like, oh God, this is it. Like, this is real. So I'm like, holy shit. And I went and jumped in the bed and I'm like, Randy, I just saw a fucking ghost. He's like, I know, I saw him too. I was hoping if I like real still, he'd go away. And now you saw him too. I'm like, yeah, I did. I saw him too. Like,
so I'd have been like, yo, somebody get me an exorcist.
Well, fuck that. We're going to Motel 6.
No, yeah, we stayed there. I mean, yeah, that was just, I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, I can't believe I'm seeing this. I always thought it would be so cool. And then it happened. I'm just like, oh my God, I'm terrified. I don't even know what to do. Like, I got goosebumps and stuff just thinking about it. I know whenever we talked about it, I actually wrote you that like 6-page whole thing about.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was the very first time that I actually saw something, like you couldn't deny it, and then having him also see it too right before me, that just sold it. I was like, I know I'm not crazy.
Right, and I mean, like you said, people talk about their experiences. Not so much now. Believe it or not, people tend to believe more in it now than they used to because with everything that the government has come forward with, UAPs, UFO, whatever, being real, and so people are looking at things with a more open mind.
Yeah, I mean, also too, I guess with a lot of the reality shows, like there's a lot of paranormal stuff out there now, as to where back when this stuff was happening to me, there really was not. I mean, I remember around like Halloween time on the Travel Channel in like the mid 90s to like the early 2000s, you could watch like building up to Halloween, they would play like the haunted travels and show like some of the spooky, scary places. But other than that, they didn't really play stuff like that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually how I found out about a lot of cool places, was like from watching that. Like, wow, I want to go there someday. I want to go there someday. I want to go there someday.
And then when you actually experience it, you're like, I don't know if I want to go there now.
Yeah.
I don't know about how I feel about that.
Yeah, so now ever since that happened, it just seemed like over time, like more stuff just started to happen. Like sometimes I can just walk into a place and I'll just like, fuck this.
You get the feeling, don't you? It's like Highlander.
Oh, it like absolutely, like it's just like, I don't know how to explain it. It was just like all the hairs on my body just start to stand up, and it's like my body just going off, like telling me like that something's here. I feel that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know that I would want that like internal sensor going off, especially when you're trying to
bells and whistles. I don't know how to explain it, but you have a sense. It's like a feeling. You'll feel it like. To me, it's like the Highlander sense. I don't know. You just start looking around. You start waiting to see what's going on. You'll hear it. You'll feel it. It's the tone. I don't know. It's
just
a
something
ripple,
that changes
the ripple in a pond. Yeah.
The energy changes, like the
and
energy
your frequency
within you, like you just and it's funny too because I actually went through a period of time where I tried to work really hard to block that shit out because it was just so easy. I had to make almost no effort. I could just walk somewhere and I'm like, oh no, like, oh Jesus, like I feel like it's over there, like
no.
Yeah, so like I stopped watching stuff out the paranormal. Stopped with like the ghost box stuff, especially with some of the stuff that went on at my house in Market Street. Like that really started to scare me, and I was just at that point I was just like I gotta find a way to control it and back away from this. And like I still get the feelings. I can't deny the feelings, but it's trying to acknowledge it without letting them know that you
That you
acknowledge
know,
it, because
right?
when they realize that you can realize that they affect you in any way,
It's
then
like
like
open
that's a wrap.
season.
That's a wrap. It's like, oh hey, look over here, over here, over here. Look at me, and I got friends, and
Kind of reminds you of that show, The Medium, there for a minute, you know?
it's
What?
ridiculous.
The Medium.
Long Island, yeah. Oh my gosh, what was it? Patricia Arquette?
Hmm.
I think played her, correct?
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yep.
yeah, that was
And
actually
then
a good
there's,
show.
or another good one that it kind of reminds you of is Ghost Whisperer.
Yeah, I remember that
Well,
one
they have
too.
a new show out. You know that, right?
I did not.
Um, it's a reality show, and I watch it all the time, and it's called Dead Files.
Oh, that yes, yes, that I know.
Oh yeah.
I absolutely love that show, and I really
The
would
one
love to get
with the
them on
sense
here.
of she can see
Oh
and hear
yeah.
She's a
Yeah.
homicide
I would
detective,
not
and
and she
she's
works
want to
sensitive.
be her.
she works with the undercover cop.
Yeah, he's the
Yep.
Well, he
homicide
used to be a
detective.
cop,
Yeah.
undercover
I
cop,
love that
or
show.
a homicide
Is
cop or
it a
something.
reality show or is it make believe show?
It's a
It's
reality show.
reality.
Okay. All right. So this is
Yeah, it's not.
my only ifs and stuff about. Okay, here we go. If you're gonna be a medium, let's just. All right.
She
So
does like blind
you're a
readings or
person
whatever you
that's in
call it.
tune. Yeah, yeah. If you're a person that's in tune with your surroundings and you can sense that. Yeah, but I mean, to go as far as say, "Hey, I'm working with a detective." Well, how they die, and you're just. It's almost like you're just guessing at that point for some people. I mean, you can't. I don't know.
Oh
No, this
no.
I
this
can't.
one's no. She literally will have a sketch artist draw out what she sees, and the detective will come back with the history of that
They
place.
don't even meet
And the
up
person that,
until
yeah, they
Yeah,
don't even meet up until the very
they
end.
meet at the end. He does
He
like
does the
the actual
footwork.
footwork like a cop would do, like solving like a homicide or something, and gets like all the property
Yeah.
background, talks to
Uh,
people.
I don't
Meanwhile,
know.
she
So they don't even
actually
talk to
goes
each
through
other
the
the whole
house,
way.
but she has someone do a clean sweep before she gets there and takes all kinds of like pictures off the walls, anything that can give her any kind of hints as to who lives there.
Yeah.
And then like when she walks through, it's supposed to be like as clean of a reading as she can possibly get. And like a lot of the time, I mean, like
She'll
her
end up having
sketches
like
are
a
really
sketch
dead
kind of
on.
like a dead on sketches
Yeah,
of some
like
of the people that
the
died in the
people
home.
that own the house and that are experienced to stuff and the things that they're seeing. When she flips those photos, those
you
sketches,
just
they
see it in
show
their
them the
face.
sketches. You can see sometimes the terror in these people's faces because
Absolutely, like
she
their eyes,
has just
pupils,
had somebody
silence,
drawn
everything.
exactly what these people have seen.
Yeah, this is probably one medium I would have to say is a true medium.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
definitely would put stock in her. I would not want to be
Yeah,
her, but I put a lot of stock in her. She seems pretty legit.
she does. And what they've proven over and over and over again, it's hard to get a cop to be like, oh, well, this has really happened because cops are much like scientists. They want what they can see, what's tangible, and what they can prove.
Yeah.
Exactly. Gotta see it to believe it. It's yeah,
I mean, if you want
exactly.
to, if you won over a detective and convinced it, like a detective who's reputable and stuff like that, I mean, hats off to you. And your batting average is pretty good when you go out there. Then yeah, I just
Yeah.
sometimes people they
Yeah.
Don't
you
get me
get those
wrong, there
ones.
are those people out there that
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of
will,
fakes. I've seen a lot of fakes out there on the in the road because
Oh,
I've been in the entertainment business for a long time and I've been around. hypnotist and stuff like that. Whatever. I'm incapable of being hypnotized. It's impossible. I'm Irish. Okay, you can't hypnotize me. All right. So I just like the well, it's true. It's we're incapable of being hypnotized. It just won't do it. Can't do it. So uh, so what my point is when you see a lot of people that I see a lot of the big show, open
The ones where they
live show mediums, and I've seen them in public. You know where you
and they
have
like
like
hit
300. They're
Oh,
salted.
eyes at the beginning until somebody goes, and then they catch it,
Yeah, yeah,
and then
yeah.
they run.
Yep.
yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Like that.
I've
You know
seen
what I
it.
mean? So,
Yeah,
but hey, if this
no,
person is
I
legit, and
watched
you
this
know, what I
show,
mean,
and I mean just to look in these people's faces. Some of them is straight terror when they
Yeah.
see the photos, and this cop is looking at them, and he's like,
There's
and
been a
they're like,
couple times
oh
where
my
she's even
god, he's
scared
like,
him.
is this exact? And they're like, that is shit on, and he's like,
There's been
Yep.
times where she's actually scared him because he'll come back from the archives with a prison photo or a mugshot or whatever of the person that died, and she'll have had the
okay.
same exact drawing.
Here's another bet. Here's another bet. If she's so good, right? If she's that good, let's get her to solve the John Bonet case. How about that?
That's a
Ramsey.
good one, the John Benet Ramsey case. You know, the funny thing is,
If she's that good, right? This should be a no. This should be a no-brainer for her. I'm just saying.
I
That's
understand.
actually one of the places she never went.
See, I don't quite know how it works for her because she says she sees them and she talks to them.
yeah,
So, yeah, I guess with the John
Sounds like a
Benet,
little demonic dabbling to me, but hey, whatever. You know, you
you
get your
know,
powers however you want to get them.
I guess you'd have to John Benet in the first place for her to be able to do anything because she would have to talk to her.
yeah,
I would say she would have to go to the crime scene or wherever the house.
most likely.
Go to the house.
It's
Yeah.
funny that you actually say that because
Actually,
it's so
I was
funny that you
watching
brought
John
that
Benet
up because
Ramsey
you
last
just
night.
I was actually I watch a lot of shit on YouTube because you can only watch like so much of Zach Baggin and all that stuff like that. Like, I used to actually like that show, but that guy is just like such a butt plug now. Like to me, like he just like
His ego, his ego.
Aaron, go provoke it. Like
Yeah,
fuck you, dude. You go provoke it. Like that shows like how little like you think of the people that you associate with. Like just immediately, like you don't even want to put yourself in the line and do this. Aaron, go provoke it. No, wait, dude. But anyway, so you know, like I said, you can only watch so much of that. So I started looking up at stuff on YouTube, and my son actually was telling me about this duo that called Zach and Colby. I mean Sam and Colby that I've been watching. That actually led me to this guy that I don't know his real name, but he goes by Mekcee, like Mekkcee. He actually does
Well, I
recordings.
know you said it's haunted and stuff. I just think it's funny that that's what it is.
But yeah, he goes like he
Mike's
actually
hot,
goes
right?
places and does ghost box sessions outside of like houses where fucked up stuff happens. So that's actually one of the places that he went, but I did not. I fell asleep in the middle of the video because it was really late, so I got to rewatch it. But I caught some of it at the end because I actually woke up because I heard it say Burke, which was the brother. So yeah, so I'm guessing that he actually like must have parked outside of the house and just hooked up all of his equipment in his car, and he just starts talking to see what he gets, and that was actually something that he got with Burke.
That's crazy.
And people have always commented about the brother being a little off, the neighbors and such, like the more things that I've watched about it over the years, that he was actually very jealous of her because she got a lot of attention. And somebody had actually said something about he actually hit the little girl with a golf club like in the head area, like not too long before she ended up dying, and she actually
Mhm.
witnessed it. So they have actually suspected that Burke actually did it, and the mom covered it up.
The Ramseys were all suspected almost right up until the very end of her mother's life.
Yeah,
And, I still am not 100% convinced that they didn't have something to do with it or they know who did.
yeah. The whole, I don't know, the whole situation. That's just not how you handle something like that at all.
Well,
You pick
the
her up and
police
you move
screwed up
her,
really
and
bad. Yeah, the police
yeah,
really they let a lot of things go on and happen under their own watch that just really
yeah,
screwed the investigation from the beginning.
yeah. That was definitely botched the whole way around, and letting family and friends traipse in and out, not sealing off the crime scene properly,
That's
moving
what
the
I mean.
body
You
without
contaminated the
her.
crime scene, man. You fucked the crime scene up, man. You let all the foot traffic and all that dumb
Yep,
fuckery.
they made it
Yep.
Bad,
almost
They had
impossible. It's
friends
almost
of the
like they did it
Ramses
on
that were
purpose.
close.
bad,
Yeah, I kind of almost feel like they
bad,
did it on purpose.
bad, bad, bad.
And apparently, they had money and they were powerful. So, like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Well,
Sounds.
Yeah,
power and money sadly do tend to pay their way out of things.
Look, if
Uh,
I was a psychic, if I was a real psychic and a medium or whatever, right? The first thing I would go try to do is go find where Jimmy Hoffa was killed and buried.
they still haven't found his body.
They never will.
they're
Nope.
not gonna. They're
Nope.
not gonna find that shit. He's probably part of the Brooklyn Bridge or something.
They ain't fucking. They probably. You're right. They probably got rid of his ass. They
I
buried
mean,
him, and
if
then they
nothing
buried the
else, he's
place where they
sleeping with
buried
the
him.
fishies. Yeah, he's sleeping
I
with the
know
fish.
right
He's something.
now here in Vegas, because it's been droughting and shit. Have you heard about all the bodies that they're finding in Lake Mead?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I bet.
Oh yeah,
Oh, I had no
I think
idea.
they found like 6 of them because usually the water level is so high, but it's literally like dwindling down. They found like
Yeah.
6 bodies already.
Oh, I
Oh
bet.
wow.
Just wait till
I
the
didn't know
flash
that.
floods hit the desert and wash all the bodies that they have out in the desert.
holy
Oh
shit.
So
man.
people were like, the first time it happened, people were like, "Oh my goodness!" And it's like, dude, the mob ruled here. You don't think there were bodies somewhere in there?
Yeah, think built Las Vegas. The mob did.
Well, it's just like my
Yeah,
husband. He works for Binions, which is on Fremont.
I
Um,
know where Binions is.
it was run by a mobster, built by a mobster. You know, he just told me because he found out last night because one of the ladies at the front desk um, opened up a big closet and everything, and he asked what these boxes were. His hotel, the Apache, that's attached to Binions, is haunted. They actually, if the guests asked, they have EMF readers for them.
Hell
Really?
yeah.
That's pretty awesome,
He
actually.
found them last night, and he was telling me that before he left. He was like, we have ears if any of the guests want to take them. I said, what? You're shitting me. He goes, nope. Saw him last night.
Hell yeah.
No shit.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And he says
I
there's
bet
this
Vegas
one
has
room
good. Yeah.
that when you walk by it, you hear a ring. You can go into the room. There's no fucking in the room.
Yeah, I'm
But
good
you
on
hear
that. I
a
don't
phone
even
ringing
answer my
from the room.
normal phone most of the time.
That's creepy.
Yeah,
So
I don't know what I would think of that.
I don't. I don't know. It's like I'm allergic to answering my own phone. So if I hear a phone that doesn't exist ringing, I'm like, yo, what the fuck, bro?
Yeah, you can't bang that phone call.
Right.
This taxi, bro.
Right? Like, no, I'm good.
Taxi's
I'm good
like a
on
normal
that.
person. Yeah.
Oh man.
So
See,
the El Cortez down Fremont Street on East Fremont or whatever. That's a haunted hotel as well. The El Cortez.
Oh yeah, he said that one. That one's a pretty good one too.
Yeah,
So
I've heard of that.
yeah, no, I've been in the carnival business for a long time, and so anyways, I played in Vegas a few times, and you know, and I don't know, and I won't touch too much on it, but the most of the carnival business is ran by the mob. So anyways, so being in Vegas, working in a mob run carnival in a mob run town, kind of fits the bill.
I was
So
gonna say they should put that in the catalog.
yeah,
Run by
no,
the
right?
mob for the mob.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
right.
Welcome to
Oh,
Vegas.
that should be on those all the manhole covers and shit.
Right.
Anyways,
Well, they have. You know,
but
they have the Mob Museum here, right off
yeah,
of. Like, I think it's on
Like,
Second or something like that, but it's right next to Fremont.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Vegas has a very interesting history, and then we don't even want to talk about the underground, the people that live underground in the canals, if they're not flooded out by now or whatever, and all the
I think they
underground,
are right
uh,
now.
probably. So, anyways, but Vegas is. So I've got to go in some of those old, and to go down in the basement and the boiler room of the El Cortez
oh man,
by
so
myself, and they're like,
Oh,
here, you want to hear some weird shit? I'm like, yeah. He says, just go down there. Here's to give me a flashlight, an old ass flashlight from the '80s, right? Here you go.
the one.
Yeah, yeah, the old D cell ones, like the 3D cell battery, they're all rickety aluminum with the red button on
Uh-huh.
it.
oh
Yeah,
man.
Oh
the one
man.
that's got the black cat, the cat that was on it. Talking about the black cat lights or whatever from the '80s and
Uh-huh.
shit. Yeah, yeah. So I got one of those, and I'm like in the basement of the El Cortez, and yeah, the boiler room. It's you hear weird things, heckling, things rattling, banging and clanging and stuff, and you're the only one down there. I mean, yeah, some of it's the pipes, but there's things that are not the pipes.
Right.
Yeah, I'm good on that. No,
I'm
thank
sure
you.
there's. You think about Vegas and all the blood and the death that laid the foundation for fucking Vegas and the corruption. I mean, you go out there and a guy goes out there and goes, all right, I'm going to build a casino out here, a casino town in the middle of the desert, in the middle of nowhere, where I won't be fucked with by nowhere. Nobody on the East Coast is going to come out here and come out here and fuck with me.
Right.
Yeah, no, right.
They
Go
planned
for
it
it.
out good.
I
They knew
miss
what
old
they was.
Fremont Street experience. I missed it before they put the zip line down the middle of it.
Oh,
Look, Fremont Street is a trip. I've never seen any place with more weirdos in the middle of the night and all times of the hours, right? And on Fremont Street experience.
It's pretty trippy. I don't know
What's
if you
yeah,
that?
ever
the
been down
Fremont
to Bourbon
Street
Street, but there's a lot of
way.
weird things out there all
Oh,
night long too.
listen, oh, listen, New Orleans ain't the same after Katrina. I promise you, man. It ain't not the same.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I was down in
Like
2017. I'm
he
sure
said,
it's definitely not like out.
Fremont, like, yeah, okay. So, you have those people that bring their families and everything and stuff like that. You know, just because Vegas is what Vegas is, right? But we all everybody. Fremont is not for your family.
Uh,
No.
You don't bring your
no,
kids. You don't know. That's not what
no.
Fremont's about because there's so many weirdos and so much shit that happens on Fremont that you don't want your kids there.
Yeah.
No,
Like
I don't want to take my pictures with these
that.
guys that are trying to be, they got these guys that dress up like actors and stuff or whatever, or celebrities, but they're less on the derelict side. They're way on the way low side, and you're like,
Right.
come on, dude. I just seen you around the back of the dumpster slamming something into yourself, and then you're gonna go and
Yeah.
take pictures, and you're like, yeah, you're come on, you don't want your kids around that shit.
No.
Yeah.
Uh-uh. I'm good on
We,
that.
we tell people because, I've had people ask me a bunch, because I'm like, we talk, and my husband, like I said, he works Fremont. And they're like, oh, well, that's the one with the canopy and everything. And I'm like, yeah. They're like, oh, I think my kids, don't take your kids there. People don't. If you want to take your kids,
Don't do it.
what they consider now the Strip. Take them there. Don't bring them to Fremont. It doesn't matter. Whether you want them to see those lights and everything, go look at the fountain. Go look at the mirage, the volcano. Go look at all that stuff.
Go to the
That
Bellagio.
they have is not that impressive to take your kids there.
No.
Yeah, that's
But
kind of
I think
also how I
that's
feel about Bourbon
why
Street.
they put this line in there too.
That's not a
Because all
place
the
to go.
families were not bringing their kids, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love the
But
French Quarter.
some places aren't appropriate for kids. When I was young, I was a child of the '80s, and I remember my mom and dad went to multiple Guns N' Roses concert, and I fucking love Guns N' Roses, but I wasn't allowed to go. And now that I'm older, and mom talks to me more freely about stuff, and was telling me about how loud that stuff gets. She's like, Vicki, that there's just certain things that you don't take kids to, and back then that was not one of them. Titties and coke and all kinds of stuff. Like, I'm not taking my 5-year-old there. No, no.
Yeah.
Oh, why not?
It's like, no.
yeah, I mean,
Some things for kids, and that sounds like it's not it.
yeah, Fremont
Haven't
is
been
just
to Vegas.
not.
Yeah.
They have the Hershey factory, M&M's factory, and all that kind of stuff on the main strip.
Right.
So it's more kid friendly, aquariums and stuff like that. But Fremont, you've got the lights that go across the top, and now you've got a zip line. But that ain't enough
That's
for
really,
wanna
yeah.
take my kids. Oh, let's walk down Fremont.
No. Oh Lord.
No. No.
I would love to take the ghost tours in Vegas or something, like
Oh,
they got that in
yeah.
San Diego.
Now that would
You know.
definitely be cool.
That would be
I
awesome.
like going to stuff like that. I actually went to Penhurst Asylum back in, I want to
I'm
say,
so
I can't remember if it's 2014 or 2015, but in that realm, around Halloween time,
I'm so
they set
jealous
it up
because
as
I've been wanting to
attractions
go.
now, but they have one building that they don't do anything to, and that you can actually go in there with your ghost hunting equipment and stuff if you want to. You stay as long as you want, as long as you don't go where you're not supposed to, because some of it's not safe anymore. But
Right, it's starting to fall apart.
but when you get there, and it's a nice drive, and it's heading towards Philadelphia, but it's actually called Spring City, and you actually go past this teeny tiny little fire department, if that's what you want to call it, and they cordon you off, and you just park in this field, and there's a path that leads down to the woods. And I'm telling you what, as soon as you hit these woods, I don't know how familiar.
I've been to the gate until they came the beginning of COVID. We actually tried to go to Penhurst,
Yeah,
and the security guard literally stopped us. He was on us like white on rice, man, and told us we had to leave. But it's a long, long road down towards the buildings, and the whole wooded
it sure
area
is. And as soon as you hit them woods, you feel it. That energy is just
I'm so jealous that you actually got to go inside.
So thick. Yeah, it's definitely really something. And while we were there, before we were going in there, we were talking to the people that stand there at the door and make sure that nothing, whatever, they just have people at the door. They were saying that the night before, that one of the windows up on the 3rd floor where nobody's actually supposed to go ended up coming open. And whenever you go into the building and you see these windows, there's no way in hell that these windows came open on their own, because it's not like one of them slide up and down things. These are metal,
We've
wasn't
actually
that
been
bad.
talking about it the last few days that we've been on here.
And it's all not that big of a deal. Like, when you actually dig into the history of that place, it's so horrible. The Stuff for the Little Children documentary, I watched that. It was mortifying to see that. Reading some of the articles about the one doctor that they actually called Dr. Fear. Like, what the hell? Almost like House on Haunted Hill shit. Like, just
yeah.
cut your teeth out for biting, and like, my God, and the big death tunnels because they didn't want to upset the patients, so they were just wheeling down under the building and all that stuff. And they're trying to tell you that like this stuff's not true, and it's like bullshit. If you dig hard enough, like, it's in writing. You can find articles about it. Like, this place, it like been sued so many times for. Oh Lord, what good was it gonna do?
Yeah,
it's just so terrible. Yeah, just walking through there, my phone wouldn't stay charged for shit, so I only got like 5 or 6 pictures. I couldn't do like any kind of EVP stuff. Like with it, and yeah, so that kind of sucked. It just sucked the life right out of my phone. It sucked the life out of me. By the time we left there, like, I just felt like how I could imagine a car would be if you just like left the gas thingy open and just put it along and never closed it. Like, just everything was just sucked out of me. I had a headache.
Oh wow!
Like,
so that had a very physical.
Yeah, the energy there is very, very thick, very, very thick. And we now his phone. He managed the person I was with at the time. He actually managed to get some stuff on his phone because he had the apps. I really did. I chose not to dabble in that stuff too much because it scared me, But I, for the picture aspect, I seem to be the one that could always get some pretty good pictures. But he would be the one that could get like the stuff, you could hear. He did actually get some pretty interesting stuff while we were walking through the hallways that people were able to validate, because in the building specifically we were working in, they did have a couple of employees that were there while it was operating as a hospital, actually working in the building so that they could provide information. Some of it was bullshit, but some of it was actually tangible. And he actually got the voice of a little girl that was saying something about snack time. And the lady was saying that in the area that we were in, while it was still operational, that we were actually very close to like one of the cafeteria like rooms where people would actually go to eat. We actually picked up on, without knowing firsthand, about people saying about growing their own vegetables, and that was actually something that the ones that were actually more lucid and had like the more motor skills and were more developed, like they could actually be like a contributing part
to the.
So they did grow their own stuff. They made some of like their own salad dressings and stuff like that, I guess, before stuff got really, really bad. But yeah, so got the voice of that little girl talking about that, and he did get some other things that, it's been so long, I honestly can't recall, but it was just weird to have some of it actually validated. But when they were trying to say that the place isn't as bad as what it was being made out to be, and that like the ghost hunter stuff and all that's a lie, and no mistreat. Like, I decided to go home on my own accord that night, even though I was tired. It's not hard to lay there on a laptop and scroll and read. Right. I decided to start digging into the place, and that's how I found that documentary. That
Yep.
Was it Geraldo Rivera when he was really young?
Yeah.
It's been a while since I saw it.
He was the one that broke the story open for all of the world to see what happened. Yeah. And I mean, it was so bad that they had people that were, in their early 20s that couldn't walk. They were covered in their own feces. Most of them were dressed or undressed, and if they were dressed, it was filthy. They only had about 2 people that were staffing the area per building. It was pretty awful,
Yeah.
and that's what we were talking about the last couple of days prior to you actually bringing that up. I'm surprised that you brought that up because it's been a topic that we've been talking about. And Penhurst really was. It's called the shame of Pennsylvania for a reason.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Uh, and that reason is because the people that were abandoned, they were abandoned there. They were dumped off like the scourge of society and
Yep.
basically forgotten by the outside world. And what was happening on the inside to them was a great deal of neglect and abuse and just some really awful things that had happened. And we're talking from people that were mentally disabled to people who weren't mentally disabled to the criminally insane, all being thrown into
Exactly.
this big mixing pot.
Yeah, and basically, I mean, even just not wanted, not even didn't have to have necessarily anything wrong with you, just not wanted. You just don't care. You go, bye.
Yep.
It's terrible, and it wasn't. I don't think that's what it was meant to be initially,
No.
but that's what it
Kind
became
of what it
somewhere.
became.
Yeah, somewhere along the line, somebody
And
failed on that.
but see, that's what happens when you have those kind of like, because back in the day, a lot of those like psychiatrists or psychologists, whatever, you know, they wanted to explain mental illness scientifically instead of going, well, you know, there's just different chemicals that are working differently in each person's brain. They wanted physical. This is why. And so they decided to do all those kind of weird experiments. Well, when they started, from what I've read with a lot of them, when they start going into that more like the shock therapy or the you know the lobotomies and stuff like
So,
that's
yeah,
where
the
Ice baths.
doctors go from
Lobotomy.
wanting to help to turning to where it's not help anymore.
Cruel. Yeah, it became
You know,
cruel
because
experimentation.
now that all they're about is what they think is the science and not the person anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
And a lot
exactly.
of
It became
like
cruel
that's what
experiments.
happened. They ended up getting a person who goes, no, there's a scientific, there's something that we can figure out physically to fix these people.
Yep.
And that's where a lot of them have gone wrong. Somebody's wanted to help, but then they get somebody in there that goes, no, we can fix this.
Yeah. If that's
Yeah,
true.
and that definitely didn't fix it.
No, it didn't.
Yeah.
The problem is it goes from being a compassionate situation to a cruel science experiment.
Exactly.
You know,
So
like
even
you were
if
saying,
at the
they were having
beginning,
their teeth ripped out
you
if
know,
they were a biter. Yep.
even at the beginning when you know you had this building made to help people to give these people something to help them, you get somebody put in there that goes, oh well, no, and then it starts cruelty because they're going, no, I can fix this person, I can do whatever in this, it'll fix this person, and that's just not how it works with mental illness.
Right. And in the end, what it does is it leaves a trail of just really dark energy behind.
Yes.
It left a lot of trauma. Like, I'm not, like, when I say, like how I mentioned earlier about how I feel that I don't even know if I can completely describe like the energy of that place and exactly how it made me feel. Like, like how I mentioned how whenever I walked into the room when I had seen it the first time, it was like static electricity. This was heavy.
Despair.
I was gonna say
Probably
maybe
like dread, kind of like hard to breathe, like just
like there's a lot of
sadness.
Wow, like bad shit happened here. Like really bad shit happened here. Like you can just feel it as soon as you hit those woods and start taking that path, and then as you actually approach the school, the campus, and you're looking at all the busted up buildings and everything, and there's like this decrepit old swing set and like a monkey bar and stuff that probably hadn't been touched in God knows how long. And I don't know, like you're just looking around, it's just like, my God, like what the hell? And then you walk into some of the buildings and you see, like how disgusting they are and all the shit that's written all over the walls. And I mean, there probably is actually literal shit on some of the walls that they probably never cleaned. But I mean, it's just terrible. And then when you add to the fact that, like word spread, about how bad this place is over time, and you got like all the devil worshippers and the Ouija board weirdos that, oh, that's cool, let's go out here and like cut ourselves and draw some pentagrams on the wall and see what happens, not really actually realizing that, like,
That's the dumbest thing you can fucking do, too. I'm trying to finish that sentence right there. Let's do that. Let's go. They're idiots.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But see,
Playing
it
with
brings
something that
those
you
kind
have
of
no
people
idea
there.
what you're doing. You're inviting something that feeds off of that kind of shit to a place like this, and it's just going to thrive, and it's going to affect everybody somehow that walks into that place. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, like, if something wouldn't actually, like, physically jump in, to somebody and attack somebody with, like, how the energy is in that place. Like, I wouldn't put it past something in there to have that capability.
I'm sure people have brought things that weren't there before.
Oh, I'm sure.
But with their
people
bullshit,
that had attachments
they've opened up portals. They've brought things that feed off of what the stuff these people have gone through.
Yep.
I
have to agree with that assessment.
Because it happens all the time when you have this kind of stuff. You've got those stupid ass people who go, oh my goodness, let's call Satan, or let's do this, or let's do that. Just be
He's going to answer that call.
Don't realize that
you go knocking on that door, it'll open up.
This is not a game. That this is reality, and it is. It's reality. It is not a game, but that's how they look at it. So then they bring things that weren't there before because they're opening up portals and stuff. And when you have a place that has had so much pain and such just horrible things,
devastation,
you're going to bring things that are attracted, things that feed off of that, things that are going to stay there because of the pain and suffering.
Yeah, it's going to thrive. Exactly, it's going to thrive. I mean, I guess a better word would say fester, but to it's thriving. It's growing, but to us, it's festering because it sucks. What's good out of us.
Yeah.
Right. They absolutely can. Yeah, it can definitely affect your mood and all that stuff. So, but yeah, that's just a crazy, awful place.
Yeah.
Like, there's a part of me that says I never want to fucking go back, but then there's a part of it that's like I kind of do. I kind of do.
That curiosity, because the place is so big that there's no way you can truly understand it without spending a significant amount of time there.
Yeah, and then you also have to.
Then you're like, you don't want nothing to get attached to you in the process.
Yeah, and I can't remember. Shit, I honestly can't remember the name of the building now. I wish that I could, but I remember actually going past the two of the most active buildings and being like, "Oh Jesus!" The Mayflower building and the Quaker Hall, and I'm like, "Oh hell no!" Like, that's the ones that they really tell you to watch out for.
Isn't another one the Mayflower building?
But yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah,
because that one's said to have a dark entity, from what people say anyway. Is there supposed to be a demonic entity that haunts the Mayflower building?
Yeah, and I would like to think that they would not have that one be the one that you can go in and ghost hunt, because that's just setting people up for some really bad shit. I wish I could remember.
I think they do that at your own risk situation. Most places that do ghost hunting or anything like that are at your own risk.
Yeah, they actually did open up the death tunnels now too. Like you can actually go down there and do a tour of that. That's probably the only. That's something I would probably want to go back for, but like I absolutely would not go and do that alone. Like it would have to be with a group
Yeah.
of people because there's no way in
Oh
hell I'd
yeah,
be able
group
to.
Doesn't that go
sacrifice.
down into
Yeah,
the
that's a good idea.
crematorium?
Yeah, I couldn't go down there by myself. There's no way in hell I'd never make it out.
Yeah.
I have to look and see how much it costs nowadays to go do that stuff. But yeah, yeah.
You would probably you would be the type of person that would try to convince a group of people to go down and like, yeah, we're gonna go to Dante's Inferno real quick. Check it out.
Right.
Just a quick,
Pack a lunch.
Right.
have
Pack
a
a lunch.
picnic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. Oh my god. Yeah. But yeah,
But yeah,
definitely.
maybe that's something you and I should do is when we get some good equipment set up, you and I go down into the death tunnels.
It's one hell of a drive.
Oh, we were up there once before. We just got turned away at the gate.
Yeah. So,
COVID, they were like, we don't want nobody.
Gettysburg is another. Basically, every square inch of Gettysburg is covered with ghosts. I've been to the Jenny Wade house. I went to the
I actually caught something on camera at the Jenny Wade house. I'll have to show you that. I caught something at the Jenny Wade house on camera that I think you think is freaking awesome. It's down in the basement, the cellar where they had her body.
Yeah, oh god, yeah.
They had that curtained off room.
Like that down there. I jumped out my seat and everything. I was done. Their dad, the dad's ghost is supposed to be down there as well, and he wasn't really like the nicest guy.
No, he wasn't.
I'm pretty sure
that's benches that they had set up, and then there's that curtained off area. Okay, well, I went into the curtained off area, and I had my phone camera, and things started flying at the camera at me, like different sized orbs. It wasn't dust or anything. It like lit up as it shot towards me, like it was self-illuminated. So that was probably the most unique thing I think I've ever caught on camera, and I still had the video, so I'll have to show it to you.
Yeah, I actually made the mistake of putting my my finger in the bullet hole in the door that the lady talks about at the beginning of the tour. How it's supposed to be like good luck and all that, blah blah blah. You get married, and well, I didn't get married, but I did bring something home with me that night. About 3. I shit you not, about 3:00 in the morning after that night, laying in bed like dead asleep, and all of a sudden I hear this like can opener's going off. The fucking can opener was not even plugged in, Maria. So as I'm walking out there, because I'm like, why in the hell is my unplugged can opener going off? Because I'm a weirdo. I was just like that. If I'm not using it, I don't keep it plugged in. And,
right.
And then
we do the same thing. We unplug shit that we don't have.
Yeah. But one of the few appliances that I do keep plugged in because, well, not now, but then because we use it a lot, the toaster. At the time all that shit was going on, like I run out there to see what the fuck's going on with that, and then the toaster popped up too. So I lost it. I'm like, get the fuck out here now. So the ex comes flying out with his phone in his hand and like the camera thing like ready to go, and he started snapping pictures even though we're like in the dark. He's just like whirling around in like circles, snapping a picture, turning the other way, snapping a picture. And we started going through them like the next day, and he actually like zoomed in on like this like swirl of smoke almost, and which was weird because I didn't smoke in my house. Like it almost looked like a soldier with like his head wrapped up around his hat like with a bandage or something. It was fucking crazy.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Do you still have any of that?
I don't know. That's what I mean. Like a lot of the stuff that like I did collect over the years, like I don't know if I have it anymore. Now every now and then on Facebook, I do have pictures from the house that Jacob is at that I can probably save and reshare. That I caught some wild stuff in that stairwell.
Oh well, there you go. That would be pretty awesome to bring to the table next visit that we do.
Yeah, have to dig through that. That guy. That was a whole other thing too. Like living in the house with that guy. Guy didn't like
Yeah,
kids. He didn't like noise.
yeah. I think that's the one you were talking to me about last night.
But yeah,
Kind of
yeah.
gave you aggro, major aggro.
I don't think you were with us when it happened, but like I said, your uncle at the hospital, the naval hospital.
I know that he worked there, but I wasn't with you. I'd moved out by that point.
Yeah, we don't know if like something followed him back from there, but one day we were all sitting down. We had um, cards that were on top of the TV, right? And we were sitting there watching TV, and then all of these cards started like shooting off. The
Tony, what are you doing?
I mean, like if you know, they're playing cards. So at first we were like, well, maybe a win, but no, it was like literally forced. Like if you took the card and went like that to somebody, they were
Oh,
shooting off the fucking TV like that.
oh.
That's
So like,
crazy.
so who are we playing for
Like I
money?
said, the first few we were like, okay, maybe something like blew at them, but coming to us in force. We're sitting there, and I was like, but
Someone's dealing out cards.
your uncle that's when he
Right.
started opening up the old part of the hospital where they had during that, like the older times where they were bandaging up the war soldiers. There was a plague that had come through, and they were dealing with all. And I was telling you that he was seeing those walks through the corridors and everything. Yeah, it happened like maybe 3 days after he started opening up those buildings,
Oh
because it
wow.
was usually somebody else that did that, but the guy had, I guess, been stationed somewhere else, so your uncle had to start doing it.
Oh,
And then
gotcha.
it was insane because we're sitting there and we're like getting freaking cards flung at us, and we're like,
It's like, excuse you. Like, can I help you? No, what's the attitude for?
right, because like I said, at first we just thought it maybe some, a win that we didn't feel like a couple of them, and so we were like, okay, until they started coming at us at force, and we're sitting here going, so I mean,
That's pretty creepy. I mean, that
Yeah. Like, I mean,
that's
we might make
pretty
fun
up
of
close
how
and
they just wanted to play
personal.
a card game or something, but like, yeah, it was kind of aggro, a little on the passive aggressive, maybe.
yeah, it was.
Yeah,
Like you someone to throw cards at you,
a hell of a introduction.
Oh, at least it
right?
was cards and not like something majorly solid,
This is
you
true.
know.
This is true.
Because I've
Although paper
seen
cuts
some
hurt, man.
things happen where things have gone across rooms that were solid, not in my house. Thank goodness. You know,
Knock on wood. Knock on wood.
I know, right? I have real wood.
Anything like that happen.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, not like heavy objects being whipped or broken or nothing like that. Never had cards tossed at me either. It's pretty wild. I have had a lot of stuff like even now, even living in this house, like I'll put it somewhere and I know where I put it. Gone. And I'll just find it randomly somewhere that I know I didn't put. I'm like, oh, thanks. Hey, yeah,
I
thanks for
appreciate
giving me
that.
that. Yep. Yeah.
It's funny
Wake
that
up.
you say that too, because when we were talking to um sorry, Caleb earlier, he had a similar story about things just kind of disappearing on him and reappearing in other places, and it was his sunglasses. And they had disappeared at the ranch. He thought he had left, or he knew he left them at the ranch, and he said 4 days had gone by, and they'd torn apart the command center and his house and his car, and couldn't find him anywhere, and they reappeared on his front steps.
On the steps or a
And
rock by the
yeah,
steps,
like
something like that.
yeah, right where you should have, like, if somebody walks past it, you're gonna see it and pick it up and take it in. So it hadn't been there the whole time. There's no way
Dude,
nobody saw
dude,
it.
you still got a TV star on your hollerback and a whack jack, man. I can't believe it.
I know that is cool.
And girls got it like that.
Yeah, that's
What
really
I was
cool.
what I was stabbing at is the Restream logo in the window of my window. So right now it's just like I can see it in front of me that says Restream, and I'm just like grabbing at these letters that I can't grab.
Like Stony had enough to smoke today.
No, I'm not even stoned yet, man. Jeez.
He's like, no, I'm just grabbing onto it.
We
Like, I
call
don't
him
need to be
Stony
stoned to
Stonehenge
do
for
that.
reason.
No worries.
But I
Anyway,
think we're
I
ending
know what
the
I can
summary on
see.
that one.
Oh, I see it in your box too.
Yeah.
It's sitting in
Giggity.
his box.
Stop it. Dirty, dirty, dirty.
Oh God. Oh,
Get it in my box.
oh my God. Good Lord.
We've done it.
Good thing that this is, with explicit content listed on my thing, because
Yeah, a good thing too.
It is definitely a good
this is not child approved.
But see, the funny thing is, you just saying it's not child approved, right? You know, just about 2 minutes ago, Annie's been laying in the bed next to me.
Does she really count as child or preteen?
Now I feel like an asshole.
Dude, nothing phases this child. She's sensitive like I am. Nothing phases child.
That's crazy.
Like
That's
nothing.
crazy. I didn't even know she was there. Like, I can't see her or nothing. Like, every once in a while, you
because
can
she
see
was
something pop
late.
into the background.
She was there, right? She had just gotten up a couple minutes ago and walked out.
Oh,
That's good.
like, I don't know. You can see Steve popping in and out of the screen. I keep turning my computer so he's not in the screen. I know you don't want to be on our live, and so I'm like slowly inching it so he's not in the frame.
The boys will come in every so often to see what we're talking about.
Yep. Oh, well, tell them to go on YouTube. They can watch it better there.
Probably.
Share. Oh, speaking of which, Vicki, share, so that other people know.
Share Bear.
Sharing is caring.
My God,
I mean,
Becky, you better get
totally
the word out on
excited.
the street.
They were totally excited when Kayla was on this afternoon. They were like huddled, like right in front of me, staring at me.
Yeah. Well, I got Auntie to start watching. I got Drusilla to start watching The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch so that she would be caught up to where I am. Well, now she's into it, and she got the boys into it, and she got my uncle into it. So now they're all like Skinwalker Ranch, and I can't go past the season they're on.
Caleb, when they figured it was Caleb, like they were just standing right in front of me, and I'm sitting here going.
Oh, my
Wait, I got something funny. All right, sorry, I was just something hit me. What if instead of the Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, it was the Skinwalker Ranch Life of Zach and Cody?
Oh shit!
The Disney Channel.
That I can see Sean and Walter like. That would be a Sean and Walter.
No. It's the same cast, same premise, right? And the same hilarity, but it's on Skinwalker Ranch.
God, I don't think London. Yeah, I don't think London would fare.
That'd be great.
I don't think so either.
That would be very entertaining.
Oh God! I mean, yeah, that would be entertaining, but she definitely would not fare so swell.
No. I mean, Skinwalker Ranch, we were talking about, this is like something that's an everyday conversation. It's a topic of conversation in some way or another. Because right now it is the only place that can honestly say they've seen UAPs consistently and on a consistent basis.
Right.
Yeah. And it's been caught on camera. We're on part of the Insiders crew, meaning we can go and watch the 24-hour live feed because we have the subscription to them. And you actually see all kinds of weird stuff, and all the weird stuff tends to happen. I don't know if Drusilla's noticed, but I noticed it usually is around about 2:45, 3 o'clock to approximately 6:45 in the morning when it starts getting a little daylight. Those
That's
hours are when
time.
the crazy starts
They're
happening.
more active.
Yeah. And then in the middle of the day, there's a few that I've showed you, you guys. And I mean, if you want, I can show you them too, off here because we've already gone through all that the last few times. But there are aerial phenomenons midday, bright, broad daylight that have been caught on camera going across the mesa. So it's pretty crazy. I'll have to show you them.
It's not military stuff.
Nope.
I mean, I'm not very familiar with the show. Like, I do actually want to start watching it.
You're gonna want to. You're
Yeah.
definitely gonna want to.
Yeah, no, it's
But
not
they-
military. It's a guy that a private
They
owner.
actually, yep. Caleb was actually saying that they have all come to the same conclusion that it is not human made. Whatever technology is being
man-made.
used is not man made whatsoever.
Yep.
So they do believe
that
that
guy
it
was
is an
in the
intelligent.
military.
Yeah, he was in the military. He's a police
Oh
officer.
yeah, from what I was reading, on one of the videos that I watched with him earlier, one of the comments said, like, if I would ever put any stock in anybody, it would be this guy because he literally has no reason to lie.
Yep.
And when you
He's got the most credibility out of anybody to be witnessing what he's been witnessing and to be able to say that he's witnessing what he's witnessing. And he's had injuries that have occurred on the ranch that were inexplicable. They couldn't find out how it happened or why it happened, just that it happened. So there's that. You're definitely
just
going
came
to
running out.
Huh?
My 2-year-old just came running out. Now he's running in circles. I thought he was asleep because he was being really quiet. He just came out and did 3 laps and went back down the hallway.
Oh yeah, he's playing games with you.
Yeah, he is. But yeah, no, you look, you got to catch up on it. Like, seriously, sit down and watch it. Like, you'll get hooked once you watch. I would say like the first episode, really within the first few minutes of the first episode, you kind of go, because it happens right off the bat. Like, crazy shit starts happening almost right away.
Sweet.
So
yeah, like I said, your
it's
uncle's
crazy.
like totally into it now, and he's like, "So when are we gonna watch it?" And I'm like, "Dude, you gotta sleep during the day, so." And he's like, "Wait, hold on a minute. Time out, time out." He's like, "Can't we watch it on my day off?" I said, "Dude, then I'm gonna talk about like."
And Caleb was saying, so we know there's going to be another season because that's something he had brought up as to why he couldn't talk about certain things is because there's another season to come.
He said there's so many hours. He said there's so many hours of clips of things that they haven't gone through.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he said something like 35,000 hours or something like that.
They have. Because I'm sure there's probably a lot of cameras. If it's like a whole ranch, they probably have cameras everywhere. That's a lot of time to
They do, and they can only show, like, when we watch the live feed, they can only show 4 at a time. Sometimes 5, because you'll have 4, and then you'll have the one of the homestead inside down in the bottom box. But there's cameras all over the ranch, and they can only show so many views at a time. You know? So they kind of bounce around between different
Lately,
angles.
they've been on the mesa.
Yeah, they have, and I actually asked about that to the group on the thing. I guess they voted it. That's why that we've been seeing it, because a lot of the daytime activity has been on the mesa. So I guess they're trying to see if they can narrow some of that extra activity into frame more. So, but yeah. So the way that he said it is, this is not something that's going to be a couple of seasons. This is probably going to be something that's until they find an answer.
Kind of like the Curse of Oak
Kind
Island.
of like Oak Island.
Huh?
Kind of like, I mean, Oak Island isn't really supernatural, but that's kind of like what's keeping Oak Island going. Like they're still looking for answers on Oak Island in Nova Scotia. So that's kind of what keeps that show going. I mean, the guys have the money
Mm-hmm.
to do all the
Tony,
digging
what'd
and
you say?
pay all the and pay all the experts and all that to come out and dig down into this land and see if, what they can find looking for treasure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're familiar with the legend, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Let's say yeah.
Okay, so Stony, what were you saying?
Yeah, sorry.
Literally the same thing at the same time. We
Oh,
were on the
okay. So
same
yeah, you guys were on the
wavelength.
same page.
Yeah.
We
I
kind
was
of
just saying,
overlapped.
I was like just right the same in
Yeah.
time. I was like, yes, Oak Island, yeah. It's just
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those things because it's not something that's gonna be, leaving us hanging. Brandon wants to give everybody answers. He wants everybody to have the answers that he wants to have. But unfortunately, like Caleb was saying earlier, they have to do things in layers because there's certain legalities that they have to do things in, certain orders they have to do it in, and certain time frames they have to do it in, because some of the things that they are going to talk about won't be until the next season, which won't be until next summer.
Right.
what I oh sorry, what I wanted to ask Caleb was like about the occult aspect of any encounters with the locals and or anything from like the natives, the tribe. You know what I mean? What they have to, like, if you were to try to interview somebody from the local indigenous area of
Like
the people.
the other properties and stuff. Yeah.
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 Well, there
Just
was actually an experiment that they did with the radio frequency that they get this 1.6. Caleb was actually talking about it earlier, frequency, but they can't figure out what it's coming from or what it's for, but they believe it to be some kind of communication signal. And they did an experiment, not him, but Dr. Travis and Dragon did an experiment putting that frequency over radio station waves to see if it did something, and just watch the episodes and you will see what happened. And what happens is just absolutely insane. And I'm gonna leave it at that because I know you haven't made it that far yet. But the
spoiler
experiment,
alert.
right, the experiment itself definitely brought outside ranch interaction into focus. So it's not just what's happening on the ranch, it's within the entire Unitah Basin.
All right.
We have to start getting into that. I mean,
I think you would
Knights have been lying about that shit for a long time.
Yeah, I think you're gonna watch it and be like, "Whoa, what just happened?" Because there's at one point they shoot rockets up into the center of what they find is a focal point for a lot of the mysterious stuff, and they lose rockets. Rockets
Lose
malfunction.
weather balloons.
They lose weather balloons, and not like they put it up and lost sight of it. They watched it go up. It had a GPS on it. GPS stopped working.
Yep.
Yeah, and they haven't been able to find it.
Like a black hole or something.
Maybe it was
whole
something a little
weather
more complex
balloon.
than the black hole.
Yeah, they lost the whole damn weather balloon equipment and all.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty
It stopped
wild.
transmitting and everything, and they still haven't found it.
Yep.
The name of the place alone. The name of the place alone is interesting too. So I don't know, it makes you wonder about like the paranormal or the supernatural aspect of it because
They
like
actually
Native
have
Americans.
There are
they actually have
skinwalkers.
legend
I'm telling you that right
Yeah.
now.
that
There were
actually
Yeah, that's
skinwalkers.
because they talk about that for like hundreds, probably even thousands of years about skinwalkers and like wendigos and stuff like that. And
Well, this is
I
actually
believe in
based
that, so I
on
can't help but wonder. I mean, I've watched stuff about people having encounters with them, and how once one of them gets you like in your sight, like you're
Well,
I
Vicky,
actually
in this
saw
particular
one.
reason, the Ute and the Navajo were battling. And the Utes were kidnapping and enslaving the
can't wait
Navajo
to
tribe. So the Navajo shaman, their medicine men, cursed the land, giving it its name Skinwalkers, saying that the shamans were skinwalkers that could appear to you as whatever they wanted, shape shifting, and one of those shape shifting figures being that of a large wolf.
hmm
Um, so the curse itself brings a lot of energy, I guess, to the land. That's how they explain the energy of the land. And my guess is because of all the craziness that happens there, that they correlated it with Navajo shaman curses. But my guess is what's been going on there is a very old, very ancient, intelligent life.
Yeah, because me and my son actually saw a skinwalker. It was really insane. We were because I used to do animal rescue, so I used to
Right.
transport dogs around the United States, and we were headed from California um, to what city in Arizona? You remember? I don't remember the city in Arizona. To drop off a dog to an adopter, and it was like this open field, had like all the plateaus in the background,
And
and
that's where they, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I was driving. I looked out the window, and it looked like maybe a something. And I told them a wolf or coyote. Oh, look, it was a wolf or a coyote. And as I'm driving, it starts to like run on all fours, but then props up on 2 feet, continues to run, goes back down on 4 feet, and then disappears. And me and my son are like, what the fuck?
What was
I was
that?
like, oh my God, that was the skinwalker, where he's my son Walter's big into the Wendigos,
Right.
And so all that kind of stuff we believe, it's just things that, we think that are actually there, and people say, oh, well, how do you know? Because nobody actually sees them. I saw that bitch. Excuse my language.
Right.
I saw that. Okay. And we were just like amazed and a little don't stop the car kind of scared. If you got to piss, you better hold it, because we need to get way the fuck away before we consider stopping this vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah, get that thing out. Oh, that's crazy.
So I have to say this has been a very exciting day. I definitely feel like we got our double whammy in today. We got two guests in one day, which never happens. We
Yeah,
got
I enjoyed this.
celebrity, and we got great stories all around. So, Vicky, would you like to be one of our reoccurring guests? Meaning you come back on from time to time?
Yeah, definitely. We can do that.
Absolutely, that would be
Yeah,
awesome. Because we
yeah,
love hearing
definitely.
kind of crazy stuff, and you and I, we could get ourselves into all kinds of trouble with paranormal. Yeah, we just need to get some good equipment.
Yeah, I mean, there are spots around here. It's just, yeah, I don't know. I didn't realize that when we tried to go where we went last night, I didn't think that at that time that there would be that much traffic. So I thought it would actually be quiet. And if we could actually get somewhere where it's somewhat quiet, or at least have some decent equipment.
Yeah, yeah.
But
See,
those
that's what I
buildings
want to
I
do. I want to
showed
get
you,
a full spectrum camera with 360. And I definitely want to get some REM pods, a couple of spirit boxes, just to give ourselves a better opportunity to catch something good.
yeah, I think of some places close by. I mean, like where we live, like all the history around here. I mean, there's shit goes on right all over the place. Yeah, I mean, I know for a fact my house is haunted, but I don't want to mess with none of that stuff.
Like, I don't want it to bother me.
I don't. You know, I would like to think that by now that if it wanted to hurt, that it would have, but it's still just the fact. I don't want to start bringing stuff in here and give other things platforms.
Yeah,
Because you can't always control. Yeah, you can't always control necessarily what you bring in, and I don't want. Yeah, I'm okay with the visit occasionally from like my stepdad. Every now and then he'll leave a light on or something crazy like that, and my daughter actually said not too long ago to my son, they just brought to my attention about 3 weeks ago that she said that she saw someone walk into my son's room when my son wasn't home, and it's just us here. So so I was like, that's creepy. She said it was a woman.
Yeah, and you don't want to bring anything else to that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so
I think that's where people go wrong, is if they've already got some of that in their house, they want to explore more.
Yeah, and I think
I don't think that you should do your house like you just.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't either.
What you have there.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we don't want to drag nothing extra up in your house.
Yeah, definitely not. I think that's part of why stuff at the place on Market Street where, when I was talking about Jacob, which I'll talk about him more later sometime. I think that's part of the reason why stuff got as elevated as it did there was he, put that app on his phone, not putting much stock in it, and played with it here and there, and took it and showed it like to other people and stuff, like at their houses. And then when I would not be home, he would be messing with it. And
well, it's like that's almost as bad as taking a Ouija board out, and opening up communications. It's just a really bad idea.
Yep. So I think that's kind of what contributed to giving Jacob, like so much energy and power, like how he had, because like he actually had the fact that he could actually like fuck with your mind, and that was what I really hated, was the fact that not only could he actually like reach out and touch you if he wanted to, because he did it to me. Like he could actually like manipulate your mind. Like if Jacob's in a bad mood, you're gonna be in a bad mood. And when my son was younger, he was still, he was a pretty wild prepubescent. He liked to run through the house and make a lot of noise. The energy in the house would change because of that. Because Jacob would get pissed off, and there would actually be times whenever I would try to go up there to like take laundry up there, to go up there to dust and vacuum. Like I'd go up the steps and I would just be like, you know what? Feels a little off up here. I'm just gonna go up here anyway because I have shit to do. Like fuck this guy. He's dead. I'm alive. This is my house. I pay bills to live here. Like I'm gonna do what I need to do. Well, Jacob, every now and then he definitely had other plans, because it would be so bad that even like with trying to ignore him, because how sometimes giving something no energy, it kind of like how like with Freddy Krueger, by not talking about him, not letting people think about him, you can't dream about him, so he has no power. Right. That didn't work with that guy. Like it would be to the point where I could actually feel this guy like hovering over me from behind, like almost like breathing down my neck and like into my hair, like get the fuck out.
No.
Like I could just like
Okay. Do that one for you. Get the fuck out.
Oh, like it's like, okay, sir, like you win today, like I'm going, like I'm just gonna set these clothes right here, and like I'm sorry, like bye.
Yeah, I think with some of them, once they know that even if you try to ignore it, with some of them they already know, they know
Yeah.
They don't care. If they don't want you in that space at that point in time, they'll
definitely not.
They'll make sure that you're not in that space. You know, because
Yeah, so I mean,
I've
I
had
definitely,
those too, where you're like, they're there, they know you're there, and they don't want you there, and it's just, I don't know how to explain it. It's almost like, for me, severe anxiety. Like, just, I need to get the fuck out of here now. But that's how I
yeah,
feel,
I
you
get
know?
like the urge to run. Like, I mean, like I felt like he like chased me down them steps that day. Like I like when I set them closed down and turned around, like I was gone. Like I can't believe I didn't give myself a black eye with my own knees. Like I literally could like picture him behind me, like just like doom 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 down the stairs behind me, like get the fuck out.
Yeah, no, I'm
And if
good
there
on
would have
that.
been a door there, I think that like I mean, I don't know if he would have been able to physically slam it in my world, but I think, I could see him like doing it in his, like slamming it behind me. Now, get the fuck out. Like he did, there was times he did not want me up there. And I kid you not, on the occasion that I do go past that house, because it's not far from here, it's on Market Street, but down towards West York more, like heading towards like Gettysburg and all that stuff, and like
Hmm.
Morningstar. Yeah, I'll have to take you there sometime. On the occasion that I pass that house, whether I'm on foot or I'm in a vehicle, I can still feel that motherfucker up there in that third floor window, just like leering at everybody, like "fuck all of you."
Oh
Like
wow.
that's just like he was a shitty human being in life, and I'm getting that just because of the fact of how he is in death. There's no way that somebody that was nice acts like this in death. Absolutely not. Like this guy is a mean motherfucker. I mean, and I'm willing to get into an argument with anybody. I'm not afraid of anybody, but it's just like, you know what, buddy? Like, here you go. You have your little room. You go over here and you stand over at your little window and you look at everybody and you be a dick. I'm gonna leave now, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I like that I can joke about it now, but like at that time, like that shit was not fun. Like that was scary. Like the fact that
Right.
like, I can't see you, but I feel you, and I feel you strong enough to the point that I know you don't want me here.
Yeah, that's pretty terrifying.
Yeah, that's got to give you,
But
like I said, that's the kind of feeling I get when I have those, is the anxiety. So I could just imagine the anxiety that you felt
feel it.
with him.
Yeah, I feel like I couldn't have gotten down them steps fast enough. Like seriously, like I really feel like he was like chasing me.
All right, ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
are over the. I generally try not to run more than an hour.
I apologize. We did
Oh
definitely
no,
run
you're
over a little
good.
bit,
You're
but it
good.
was good. It went fast. I got to definitely get this kid to wind down. He, oh god, he just run around in circles. He was good
Oh,
for that whole
fine.
time, except for a little bit at the end. I really thought he was asleep. Now he just wants mom's attention. So
Oh, of
I'm gonna go
course.
chill with the kid and get myself
I'm
ready for
gonna
my work day
take
tomorrow.
us off of
It was nice
live.
meeting all of you.